let's see if you really got what you say you got, So, and then, I don't like it. Like, I don't doubt
okay.
Oh, you put it mean, okay. What is meant for me is meant for me. And there'll always be a guide that will show me that this is where you need to be. So I never get to the point of compromise.
Ayanda ngasikhathi sabancane besidukela ama-Popeye. Babukela ama-Popeye kini. What is the prototype of the way Ayanda would like to be if Ayanda was a cartoon character?
Powerpuff Girls.
So it's not Cinderella or anything.
No, I believe that when you're a creative, right? You are a messenger. You're a vessel. Because your life depends on it.
I mean, there's a fierceness to it. It's almost as if it's a life and death situation.
For me, my life depends on the fact that when I'm called to be given a task, that Ayanda, I'm giving you this, and I'm giving you the responsibility to do this, to deliver. Right. You need to give me your best.
Ladies and gents, music lovers and friends, welcome to the 12th episode of the Landmark Show. I'm joined right here on my right-hand side by what I think is possibly one of Africa's greatest gifts. I say that because, one of the words that come to mind when I think about Ayanda is potency. In the practice of giving tinctures, which is a reduction of medicine, so they boil it, and then they take the most potent substance and they put it in a capsule. Ayanda is like a potent tincture, like super dope concentrated, There's like a level of intensity, like about the approach that you take to music and in general life. So, ladies and gents, one of South Africa's greatest exports, the one and only Ayanda Jiya. How you keeping?
What's up, everybody? Hey, what's up? What's good?
Thank you for making the time. Thank you for
having me on your show, man. I've been your stalker. I've been on there. I'm like, he got a show. When am I gonna be there? When are we doing this?
Okay, first things first. Yeah. Congratulations on the Ralph Gumdrop.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
A little bird and a whisper is telling me that we should be expecting something from you around the 14th or the 18th of June.
I don't know about the bird, hey? I'm not so sure about this bird.
Yeah.
But this bird's got a lot to talk about, though.
Yeah.
It's got a mouth, this bird.
Yeah,
but true. I've been, sitting and, I've been taking time, really.
Right.
When it comes to being creative, I haven't dropped anything in a long time.
Yeah.
And that's also because I was going through personal things.
Okay.
There was a lot of adjustments that had to be done in my life personally.
Okay.
There were changes that I needed to go through. There was a lot of understanding of forgiveness, when it comes to myself, I needed to get to that place,
right.
In order for me to jump into the next episode or next, level of my life, So there was a lot of,
something needed to happen.
Something had to happen. And when I was done with all of that, then I was just like, I really miss singing. I really miss creating. I miss being in studio, but I wanted to be in studio knowing that I'm actually at peace with myself, so that I can actually deliver what I need to deliver, So the bird is right. I've been working.
And what can people expect when that particular project drops?
Music.
Has it got a name yet?
Beautiful music. It's all a surprise.
That's the name? It's a surprise. I was like, hey, the name is Beautiful Music?
No, it's what they need to expect is beautiful music.
Beautiful music. All right.
They can expect a lot of me, definitely. Grown me, a transitioned me, and just a beautiful side that I've actually got engaged with myself. Yeah. Right. So they can expect that definitely.
Okay.
And of course, quality music.
If ever that,
of course,
as if that was ever a question. Yeah. So we certainly expect nothing less. So
for sure.
Rest assured, we're looking forward to it.
All right.
Ayanda, you, in terms of my observations, right? You have an incredible work ethic. Like I think that you're a consummate professional, right? And I wonder where that comes from. Like, how do you approach work? Why is it that you have this work ethic that's just insane? Like you're like, it's as if every time you get a task or a challenge, it's like, I'm going with this with all my might, and I'm going to come out of the other side having completed this thing.
Yeah.
Where does that come from? Like, where does that work ethic come from?
I'm not really sure where it really comes from, but I believe that when you're a creative, right, you are a messenger, you're a vessel, spiritually, I believe that you are called to do something. There's a task that you are called to do, you know?
Right.
And when you are equipped and you are called to do that, you are given the equipment to be able to do that, but you have to do it to the best of your ability. Because your life depends on it.
I mean, there's a fierceness to it. It's almost as if it's a life and death situation.
For me, my life depends on the fact that when I'm called to be given a task, that I'm giving you this, and I'm giving you the responsibility to do this, to deliver. Right. You need to give me your best, and that's how I get into everything, from a collaboration to a performance to just anything that has to do with my creative side. Yeah. I have to give you my all. So that's what.
But is that because you take this work that you do so seriously? Does that apply to everything in life? Like, that's just generally your.
Because for me, as I said, I'm very spiritual. When God had to call, when I have to die one day, and I'm standing on Judgment Day, and God says, I have given you everything. What did you do?
Okay.
What did you do with all of that? You know. Yeah. So I need to make sure that in every little piece of task that I was given, I gave my all. Because when you look at the whole painting, you'd be like, yeah, no, for sure, she has been working and she has been dedicated just the way as I wanted to.
When you get there, when God says, yeah, Yasin, you've done it all, what's the song that's playing in the background there? Like, what's that soundtrack?
Oh my word, I don't even know. I never even thought about that. No, I don't know. Hey,
think about it. Why there's got to be something there, like. You know, is it something that you heard when you were young? Is it like, you know, there's got to be like, what's that one song when Ayanda has reached the apex, like the place where she's proud of herself and God is proud of herself? Like, what's that song in the background? Like, blasted, you know, you
probably a new song that I've never heard before.
Oh, deep.
You know, I can tell you now.
You're
like just imagining it, I could tell there's angels just singing around. Like, she made it.
Something that I've never.
Let's go, you know. So it probably is a new song that we've never heard. But I can tell you this: I'm also gonna know that song.
You're gonna know that song. I got you. I guess that's the essence of being the spiritual being that you are in terms of how you approach it. Because you probably think that there's nothing that's been created that could summate or that could sum up to that experience. It's probably it needs to be something so supernatural.
Yeah, it's something that I've never experienced before.
Yeah, for sure. No, I get that. Yeah. So, what is Ayanda's approach to failure? You know, apparently, you know, as we go through life, we're confronted by difficult situations. In some instances, we are the ones who fail, or the circumstances fail us, or the infrastructure fails us. What is your personal philosophy with regards to failure? How do you approach failure? How do you navigate failure? I'm sure you failed in your life, right?
A lot.
Like what?
And
what's
when I do fail, I feel like, I mean, you do feel like, oh, you know, man, I could have done better, or whatever the case is. But I look at failure as another opportunity to do things even better. You know, there's always lessons to be learned when you fail. But what I've learned about failure is that failure only comes one time.
Meaning,
like when you fail once, and you learn that lesson once. Again, so it's premeditated. If you do it again, it's premeditated.
Okay, so what you're saying is that life presents us with an opportunity to change or transition, or overcome,
and that's why mistakes that's why mistakes are so vital. When it happens, you look into it and you be like, okay, so what's the lesson here? That's why I always sit in my mistake, like, so this is what really happened. You know, I reflect on it. Like, okay, from step 1, 2, 3. Okay, so this is where 4. Okay, so this is what I did it for.
Okay.
I can't make that mistake. What was the lesson at 4? Okay, this is the lesson at 4. Okay. So next time when we get to 4, this is how you move. Okay. You know? Other than that, if you're gonna be blind or you're gonna play like it's a mistake. Oh, not again and again.
Meaning if it repeats itself, then
it's not.
You haven't learned your lesson. It obviously means that you haven't learned.
You're not even observant, or you're not even listening to what's actually happening.
You're not aware.
You're not aware. So I've learned that the older I've become, like that's what I learned. Like, okay, mistakes are really vital lessons. Those are the humbling experiences that God gives you. You sit into it and you watch and you learn and you're like, oh, okay, this is it. Now, when I move next time, then I know. Even when it's difficult, you're like, here it is. I'm already at that moment. Lord, come on. You need to help me. Remind me. How do I move again? Do you understand what I'm saying? Yes, that's how
you're kind of like ready for it by the time it comes.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, I've seen this before. And I'm not going to go down like that.
Yeah. Then, one of the difficult things as we, from an artist and a musician perspective is I'll call it the coinciding of three things, right?
Okay.
One of them is success. The second one is ambition. And the third one is staying true to yourself, So these three things, because we are professionals and musicians, how does one balance the three things? Ambition, success, and staying true to yourself. Is there ever a possibility where one of these have to be compromised for the other two to happen? Or do you think, what is your approach to life? Is it possible to balance ambition, success, and being true to yourself? Are you able to balance those things? What's your personal philosophy? Is that even possible?
I think it is possible.
Okay.
I think that the link is to being true to yourself.
Okay.
I think
Before.
that's what,
Okay.
I think that's what binds it, because when you're true to yourself, you know the ambitions, and your ambitions is what drives you to your success.
So it's never confusing.
It's never
by the time it arrives. It's not like
no. I don't believe that I need to compromise myself to be successful.
Okay.
I don't believe that I need to compromise myself to be ambitious.
Okay.
I don't believe that I have to be something else.
together, like it's,
They're all together, and they all come with who you really are. That's how I view it. And
you
that's
haven't
how
have to make like some sacrifices, sometimes like, get on a whack track or like some like, hey, I'm just gonna do it.
I'm very skeptical even when it comes to collaborations.
Yeah.
I always go with things that will be aligning.
Somehow it has to
align,
connect.
and also, and if it doesn't connect, doesn't mean that I'm missing out on anything. It doesn't make me feel like, this is the most greatest opportunity, you missed out. No, not at all. What is meant for me is meant for me. And there'll always be a guide that will show me that this is where you need to be. So I never get to the point of compromising.
All right.
Yeah, that's just me.
Ayanda ngasikhathi sabancane besibukela ama-Popeye. Babukela ama-Popeye kini. Did you have a favorite cartoon character? What is the prototype of the way Ayanda would like to be if Ayanda was a cartoon character?
Powerpuff Girls.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's not Cinderella or anything.
No, I think I've always had this thing. Like I always, even till this day, like I'm a cartoon guy. Like there has to be some supernatural, like kind of action, because for me, I feel like if I had to be a cartoon character, I'd be that. I'd be super powerful. I'd be helping people. I'd be fighting. I'd be a warrior. Yeah. So I kind of view myself.
I know. I like that.
Yeah,
action,
none of that romantic.
Action,
I'm a thug first.
Gangster.
On the back. Yeah.
It reminds me of this one instance where Touchline walked up to you and asked,
I wish he was. I really.
And you were just chilled. You were like, and Touchline comes along and he's greeting the people and he's like,
Want to tell the story? Please tell the story.
Okay, there's this one time I've deleted the video. You don't believe me, it's just that unfortunate. But I end up pulls up, we're shooting. Oh, by the way, there's something very dope happening. If you haven't watched Hard Target featuring myself and Touchline and a beautiful cameo by Ayanda Jiya, go check it out.
Right.
Because after that, the story evolves.
Right.
Flow is in the mix. She's evolving and you shall see a lot of her going forward. But I wanted to say, so Ayanda, after we were shooting the cameo of Flow in the video of Ebbs and Flows,
right.
Touchline pulls up.
Yeah.
He arrives there. We do the video. In fact, before we do the video, he's doing some introductions. I introduce Touchline to the crew, and Touchline sees Ayanda, aka Flow, in the thing. She's like, "Hey, hi, what's your name?" Ayanda's like, Ayanda.
Yeah.
And Touchline's like, "Okay, cool.
Pleased to meet you."
Yeah, pleased to meet you. Carries on with his life. We do the thing. Much later, Ayanda is speaking about her music and she's speaking about what she's doing next. And then Touchline listens and is like, "Oh,
wait a minute.
What's your stage name?" Or something. And it's like, Ayanda, I don't have a stage name. My name is Ayanda Jiya. And at that point, Touchline realizes that all this time, Ayanda Jiya has been in his presence, which people have been telling him, but he didn't even know it. Tabo. Also, but no, I'm just thinking about the gangster way that you handled that. Like a Powerpuff Girl.
I mean, for me personally, I don't think that it is something that I need to do when I walk into a place and be like, "Hey, do you know who I am?" You know what I mean? I don't think it's in my place. I feel like If you know, you know, and that's cool. If you don't, it's fine. You still have an opportunity to know who I am. You know, like I always approach people like that. You know, sometimes when I meet people like Ayanda Jiya, and I'm like, it's so nice that you know me, but I don't know you. You know, so what's your name?
What's your name? Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter. You're gonna forget anyway. But for me, it's plain courtesy because I'm human first. You know, besides the brand and everything, I'm me first.
Well, in that time, okay, based on that, in a world where greatness is normally measured by the number of high fives, accolades, or whatever that has been received and whatever, how does Ayanda approach greatness? What is greatness for Ayanda?
I think greatness is when you are really true to yourself first, and also it's just really being, you know, really dedicated to what you do.
All right.
You know, being dedicated in what you do brings you closer to your level of greatness, you know. So for me, it matters to me.
Potential.
Yeah, your fullest potential. So for me, it matters to me that, for example, I'm very big on fitness. Okay, I'm very, you know. So I always push, like, I want to see how far I'm gonna go. You know. Oh, and I see. I want to go more. You know.
Okay.
So for me, it's like that. It's like a process. You know, like even with music, like I drop an album today and I listen to it 5 years later and I'm like, okay, so where am I now? You know, and then you compare. With me, I compare myself from where I was to where I'm like, oh, there is a growth. So that's how, for me, that's how I do it.
So those wins, because every win kind of exists, you know, in places where people don't necessarily get to look.
And it's always the little things.
Yeah, it's like,
you know?
there's a lot of W's along the way
that you put in that actually bring you closer to your greatness. So for me, that's how I identify my greatness.
Yeah, no, that's dope. Dope. All right, so imagine you had an animal talking sidekick who gave you advice on achieving your dreams. What kind of animal would that look like?
It'd be a panda.
What?
It'd be a panda for sure.
What words would the panda say? Sure, what words? What words would the panda say?
Oh, man. I already even imagine, like, just sitting on a bamboo tree, man. Like,
let's choose some bamboo.
Yeah, we're out there, like, yo, bro.
It's like,
listen, man. Your life is good.
Yeah.
Your life is like, this is what you need to do in life.
Chill.
You know, just. You know, I mean, you can even see how pandas are.
They chill.
Sitting
they super chill.
In their thoughts, you know, they're hanging there, even when they're sitting alone, you know, in the rain, they're in their thoughts. This is why I think it'd probably be a panda, you know. I'd be in so much peace and, you know, soulless.
Oh, man. Oh, this is dope, man. That's dope. Okay, now, I got another question for you.
Right.
Remember, we're talking about ambition, we're talking about finding yourself, right?
Yeah.
If you were a superhero with the power to achieve any goal effortlessly, what would your superhero name be? And what would be your catchphrase?
Wow. That's it.
What's the other one?
Yeah.
Last one.
Okay.
If you had a magic wand that could instantly turn any failure into a whimsical adventure, how would you use it to transform the setbacks into laughter?
How would I use it?
Think about the time maybe when you were 10 or 15, you know, it doesn't have to be something any recent. Like it's, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you know, there's a one that thing that you failed at could become like a magical wand. Or with a magical wand, you could transform that failure event into like a whimsical adventure.
Oh, man.
To change that setback that it might have been. Might have caused you. You don't think of life that way.
No, I really don't. Everything for me, there was a reason.
There was a reason for it. Oh, no, yeah. So you wouldn't go to the past to like change like something that happened.
No, I mean, I'm even thinking about, for example. Sorry.
Yeah. No.
Like I'm thinking of the moment where, you know, like the people that I really hope that would believe in me when it came to my career, you know, didn't, you know, or thought that it was just a joke or whatever the case is, you know. Maybe a part of me would be like, if only that moment I could have just, you know, for them to see. But it was them not to see that actually got me to be more stronger to understand myself and the purpose of what I'm doing, you know. So I wouldn't change a thing. I wouldn't change a thing because even now they're convicted. You know, now they live in conviction. Like, yo, she's been trying to tell us all this time. You know, so I wouldn't change a thing.
Ooh, what a beautiful way to look at it.
Yeah.
When did that happen then, Ayanda? Like when did Ayanda find with Ayazin? I understand, you know, I mean, I'm not talking about the name as such, but I'm just talking about like the path. Like when did it happen? Like
Man, I mean, I was 6 the first time I knew that this is something I was called to do. Like, I'm in the garden playing like trees, like this, you know, and I'm like singing in front of these trees, and it hit me then, like, you know. And I always tell the story that I was 6. My mother's playing Divainan, the record back in the day, you know. And just playing OJs. Stairway to Heaven. Right? Yeah. And there was, I won't, till this day, I don't even have the words to explain what that song made me feel.
At 6.
But at
like
6.
Something about it like was
6. But I can tell you this. Whatever it is that I was feeling, I wanted everyone else to feel that. Because for me, it was like, this is so purposeful. Why does my soul, why does my heart feel like this when the song plays, you know? And there was just so many songs by the OJ's Temptations, you know, because my mother was like hardcore soul fan, you know? When it came to R&B and soul, it was those kind of music, you know, that kind of music music that really spoke to your heart, you know? Like, I wouldn't even understand what, you know, the dynamics of love at that point, but I was just like, wow, I'm feeling something. I'm feeling something, man. Like, you know, I'm emotional and I'm like, why am I crying? I'm not dating. I don't know what a man is.
I don't know what the hell these people are talking.
You know, but I knew that was the purpose.
This is the feeling.
This is what music's supposed to do. This is music's supposed to be convicted. Music's supposed to make you feel like this. Music's supposed to make you want to change something, make something good. And that's what it was for me. And I wanted that to be my life. I wanted to dedicate my life in helping people, transform people, making them feel something they never felt
they didn't feel before,
you know,
or feel something that they didn't know they need to feel. Because sometimes
until you feel it, and you're like, you know, I never had the words, or I never knew how to express myself like that. But this brings me to that place. Like, thank you for that.
You brought me to that place where I can realize.
I can actually realize that. Wow, this is such a change that has to happen. In love, you know. Yeah.
And your life's work now is basically curating the sounds, the experiences, the words, the music, to give that gift back, of what you experienced when you were faced with the OJs to others, And there must be a lot of those, though. There must be a lot of those who you know.
For sure.
All right. There's one thing then outside of the music and the potency and, you know, what I've mentioned and what you've just discussed is the words to write. You are a lyricist of note. Some people have got the gift of the voice, but, you know, fail at the ability to write. I mean, this is like a triple threat, right? The ability to make music, the ability to move people emotionally and spiritually, and the ability to write. It's a triple threat. Like, how did that come about? Like the love for words and the describing of events, occurrences.
So,
are you generally observant? You know, is it what's going on? So,
I've started from the beginning. So my mother is, she was a librarian. She used to work at a public library back at home, Omokasan. So, my mother believed that as her children, from her type of education she grew up Kabanti education. Right? So she always installed it in us, you guys are going to be better.
Must be better.
You have to be better than what I knew, you know, and what I got when I was in school, you know. Our education compared to what you guys are now, the education you have is better from where we started. But I want you to be even more better, even in articulating yourself. So my mother used to bring me books and novels. Novels are my favorite. She would always bring me like a storybook, or sometimes when I come up, when I'm out of school, after school, I'd have to walk to the library from school and go wait for her. And I'd sit at the children's section and I'd have to read. You know, like she'd be like, go get some
around you. Sit down,
just sit and read. At first, I used to hate it. I was like, this is every single day. What do you mean?
Thank God there were no phones back then. Imagine if there were phones, you'd be scrolling, endlessly scrolling.
You know, and she's like, read. I would hate it so much. I mean, and sometimes when I wouldn't wait for her at work, she'd bring me a book from work, and she'd be like, here's a book, and then we'll discuss the book like later on. So my love for describing and painting a picture came from that. You know, she was my inspiration. Came to that. you know. And then obviously growing up, and then you get to listen to, you know, more music and more people who are songwriters. Jill Scott is my muse. I always say, but Jill has been my muse ever since I got to be introduced to her music.
Yeah.
She's an observant kind of person. She'd even say, like, you know, she'd get onto a bus and she'd just take a bus ride and just watch people. You know, and that's where she would actually draw her inspiration. So that's where it all comes from.
I remember Gregory Porter saying something very similar to Jill Scott's observation on a bus trip.
Yeah.
He said that he would be walking across the pedestrian walk.
Yeah.
And he'll just be observing what's happening, and he'll get a word based on what he sees.
Yeah.
And he puts it in his notebook, and then he's like, I'm going to use that next time I write something.
Yeah.
You know, just picking up all these clues around what's happening around us. Now, tell us, can we expect to hear Ayanda Jiya with Umoja sounds?
I hope so. I hope so. I mean, I had such a beautiful time meeting them. I had an amazing time. They are incredible, very talented, you know. So, he put me on so many challenges. Yeah. Oh man, Kevin, if you're watching,
you made work hard.
He really, and the thing is, I never back down on the challenge. I always want to go in and find myself within the challenge in any genre. So. Definitely.
Yeah. Look out. Maybe,
you know.
Maybe something
beautiful, you know, that we created together.
Definitely
you
a lot
know.
of cooking.
Talk about, you know, pulling me out of my comfort zone. You know. I know we had a session where I was just like, really, are you serious? You want me to do this? And he's like, let's see if you really got what you say you got. You know. So, I know, you know, I don't like it. You're like, wait on, you put it in. Okay, I'm gonna show you some. You know. So. Yeah, definitely there'll be some stuff out with the Umoja sounds. I'm really, you know, like happy and honored that, you know, they even called me up for something.
Dope.
You know, so yeah.
Some last words about the character of Flow in terms of what is unraveling. You know?
Hi, Abs.
What's up, Flow? You gave your gift to the project, and definitely super thankful for that.
I appreciate that. I'm so honored to be part of it. Yeah,
like, you know, dedication in terms of getting it right. So much. I'll take the words away from you on this one, ladies and gents. Expect the evolution of the story of Ebbs and Flows as it drops. The next drop is Find It, which is probably dropping not too far from now. It's fire.
Yeah.
And it's been fantastic.
It's been
thank you for spending this time to get to chop it. It's been phenomenal. Yeah, you look forward to.
Thank you for having me, man.
No,
finally made it. Mama, I made it. Finally made it. Thank you for having me, man.
Welcome, ladies and gents. This is Ayanda Jiya, and this is Landmark, and we're out.